This is vital to honestly ending the school to prison pipeline. Black educators are necessary. They need to be listened to. They need to be centered. So let's celebrate Black history, not just the history makers, but the educators that were behind them. In many cases, they were Black. So.
And while Boston is doing better than many other cities with Black educators are making up 21% of our teaching staff. We still have a tremendous amount of work to do to ensure our educators are very reflective of not only the language, but the population that they serve, and that we are doing work around recruitment and retention, especially the way COVID-19 has devastated our communities and then put undue burdens on our educators and the families they serve.
As we continue to put a focus on teacher diversity and increasing the number of Black educators within the Boston Public School District, we need to focus more on retention, because it's one thing to get Black teachers into the district, but it's another thing to keep them there. I've seen so many great Black educators leave because they couldn't get to that higher ceiling. They couldn't get those opportunities, or they weren't considered for them. So I think moving forward, we really do need to put a focus on our retention efforts.
So in Boston Public School, for the year of 2019-2020, 42.5% of our students are Hispanic, right? And then we have 33% of our students who are Black. And then we also have 14% of our students who are white and 9% of our students who are Asian, and only 1.5% of our students who identify as other. So you would think to yourself, like, okay, so we're going to see more teachers that look like the kids we serve, but that's not the case. And BPS, only 21.5% of our teachers are Black. Like, so that's a problem, right?
So one of the things I wanted to speak about today was the lack of Black educators within Boston Public Schools. I was a Black educator within the Boston Public Schools the last 5 years. I have 2 master's degrees. I have a CAGS in counseling psychology, and I had an MED. And one of the things, like Kwame was saying, was I had the education to move up, and I just didn't get the opportunity to move up. And I was asking the shadow principals. I was applying for every job which was applicable, and I wasn't getting the opportunities. So one of the things that I did was, at the end of January, I just transitioned out of BPS. We are Black men. We want to be the difference for our youth, but we need the opportunities. Like BPS, they continually say, we want Black men in the schools, but they are not giving us the opportunities. And like I always tried to say when I was trying to apply for these positions, when I had the interviews, you cannot gain experience without the opportunity. And it's just like, if we have the skills, we have the ideas, we have the innovative ideas as well, and we are able to see our reach within the schools, within the students. Because when I was a para, I had students, not just in my building, not just in my classroom, who would say hello to me, but throughout the whole school. Little kids coming up to me like, hey, they like my sneakers, they like my waves. So it was like my reach was bigger than my role. The students saw it, the staff saw it, but I never got promoted to the positions that I wanted to see, that I saw myself as. So I left.
As a former chemistry teacher myself, I know how it can feel to be the only person of color on staff in a school, or to teach a curriculum that doesn't value your perspective or students' culture. I also understand the added burden it takes for you to adjust your curriculum to be that for your students and for yourself. And so we tell our students that they can be anything, but rarely do we show our students how that can be achieved. I remember hearing all throughout my youth that, I can be a doctor, I could be a lawyer, I could be an accountant, but never once did I really see people who looked like me coming to talk about their experiences or how they got there. And so, like, while other states across the country are actively banning the teaching of racism and penalizing educators for teaching racially and culturally inclusive curriculum, Massachusetts has the opportunity to lead in the other direction. And so again, thank you for joining us for this celebration of Black leaders, educators, and history. And I look forward to working with all of you to continue to build a more inclusive and anti-racist future. Thank you.